Good afternoon. Welcome to the web series regarding mental wellness. We've got our reputed counselor with us, Shivani. Shivani, can you please give a quick introduction about yourself?
Hi, okay. I'm Shivani Guruvara, and I'm a relationship and empowerment coach. And what I look into is people who have relationship issues who want to help improve their relationships intentionally or disengage from a relationship very gracefully or move on from any kind of relationship powerfully. And I also believe that relationships is a very, very key element of feeling in control and feeling empowered, and which is why these two go hand in hand for me. And I help people live their best life. That's my tagline. So helping you live your best life.
Thank you, Shivani. Guys, we've been doing this series from about 3 days now. It's been so encouraging for us to see that there are so many people logging in to talk to us, and we have started receiving so many emails which are painful as well as which are making us feel more confident about the result of what we are doing, because now we are able to talk to you, we are able to make you talk to us, and we are able to find solutions to your problems. If not take them off in a day, we'll be able to walk with you through this journey where you feel that you're not alone in this journey, and we'll be able to guide you through the process. We are trying to see that you get the right help and you do not feel more distressed in this process. So at the end of the session, I'll also be telling you on how to connect or contact with any of the counselors that we are interacting with. Now, there are NGOs as well. And if you are worried about your financial status, to reach out to any of the counselors, we will be able to help you in that process as well. And please stay tuned. This is a daily web series that is going to happen from here on. And we'll be back to you every day with a counselor who's going to help you with your issues. Now, we've got n number of emails, and we have picked the top 5 emails for the day. While you're going through these emails, I also request you to either raise your hands so that you can talk to the counselor directly, or message your query to me on a personal chat so that I can read through your messages to the counselor of the day. And for those of you who are not able to log in, or for anyone of your friends who are waiting to listen to us, the show is also live on Younify Radio, on Younify application. You can tune into Younify Radio and listen to what we are talking today. Welcome. It's a grand new day, and there are many emails that we got to go through. Since this is regarding relationships, the emails that we have got are a little lengthy, quite elaborate. So I would want us to take some time, go through the emails, and do not miss on the fine elements, because each and every detail of that element or of that email is quite important. So please bear with me while I'm reading through the email. I'm just going through the first email. It says, "Hello, sir. I don't know if this is going to help me. I tried every possible way, wanted to give it a try. So I'm here to tell you this. Sometimes the people we had never taken seriously would become the major influence of our life. In the same way, I dreamt the rest of my life along with her. I'm a girl too. So this is in between two girls. We were that thick. We always thought we would be there for each other. First complexity came when I couldn't hide one of our secrets from their parents, and she was shut by them not to talk with me, though she managed to. She's actually a girl with a lot of self-respect, intelligence, and power. She gives great thought for everything. She always puts her in everyone's shoes. I started being so much possessive for her that I couldn't tolerate even a guy speaking to her, or she speaking to me about a guy. Trust issues arose with me. We had a lot of fights because of my possessiveness, obsession, and insecurities. We didn't talk for days, but later she understood me somewhere and talked again. There were days I begged her to talk with me. I was crying like hell with the fear of losing her, but couldn't deal with this obsession of mine. I felt like losing myself, but I was constantly begging her to talk. She didn't like the way I was victimizing myself. She started being quiet but talked a little. I had hope because of that little talk. And one day she asked me not to text or call her. So I didn't, but used Hangouts to ask for the reason. And she said she didn't want to talk. I had no other way but give her time. I cried for days because of the confidence that I'll have for lifetime. I never gave up. I never gave a thought about anybody else. I didn't believe anybody. I couldn't allow anybody into my life. After all this, a guy talked to me one day because we work along. We had a pretty good conversation. I felt like he's so much into me. I felt those vibes. I just wanted to give myself a try. I tried. I felt those. I said, I'm into myself. Then I found he's so much into looks. Then insecurities started again. I became overexpressive, obsessive. If people are not good to me, and I found him being not interested in me, but still talking to him with lumps of insecurities. I don't know if you can understand this, but wrote this with a lot of hell feelings. That's
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ashoka, for reading that whole thing out. And it is like a heart pouring out in terms of, when I can feel what she's saying when she's writing this. And what I do see over here is a kind of a pattern, okay? Because she's talked about two relationships of hers. Now, honestly, what I do want to tell you, you've identified the thing, if you read through your email on your own again, you've actually identified what is happening here. What is happening is you became possessive about the girl. You did say that, you had trust issues and you had insecurities. So that at some level, that at some level is the root cause of why this is happening. And what I would really like you to do is to, really concentrate on what you are worth. Concentrate on yourself, right? Because whatever you're feeling is happening because at some level, you're looking outside for support. You're looking outside for a relationship. You're not looking inside. We all go through this glorious ideas about knight in shining armor. There is no knight in shining armor. Our fairy tales, unfortunately, make us believe those things. And when we are younger, we do believe that. But the sooner we start to understand that you are entering adulthood now. And when you are entering adulthood, you will have to start taking responsibility of your own actions. So, small tips, okay? Again, whatever tools that I share or whatever things I ask you to do, they might, as we go along and other emails also come, they might seem very simple. They might also seem like, isme kya hai? What's in it? It's such a small thing, and how is this going to affect? But try it. That's the best I can suggest to you. So what I do want you to do is to start writing about the things you love about yourself. Okay, write them down and put them in a place where you can see that. And why I'm recommending this to you is because you're at this point in time looking outward and not loving yourself enough. You're not thinking that you're worthy enough. So, like for example, in the case of this other guy, he's the one who was interested in you. You gave him a chance, which is a great thing. You were open, and please do remain open. However, the moment you said, he was into looks, he is the one who approached you. Was it your thoughts that made you think like that? So try and question your thoughts whenever, you encounter something like this before shutting yourself off. Also, try and understand this, that when you are putting the whole burden of responsibility of your actions onto somebody else, when you are, let's say, as you said, victimizing yourself, the other person, who's of a similar age, for them, it becomes a big responsibility, right? It's too difficult for them to try and take the responsibility of your actions or your thoughts onto themselves because they're going through their own situation and their own hell at that time. A healthy relationship and a stable relationship is one which is formed on trust and a healthy space. So when you are, trusting somebody, you allow them to be what they are. And that is how you form relationships going forward. So that's what my advice would be. Go ahead and keep yourself open. Learn to love yourself. Accept yourself for whoever you are, because each of us is a unique person and each of us has a lot to give to the world. The problem obviously is that we start to compare with each other, and we start to think that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy enough, and stuff like that. No, there are lots of people in this world. You meet some, you don't vibe with some you don't like, some don't like you. What the hell? You move on. You will find your tribe. You will find the people whom you can connect it at some point in time. Yeah, Ashoka?
Thank you, Shivani. I just wanted to understand, do you mean to say that we got to first love ourselves and understand what we are before we...
Absolutely. See, what happens is that if you love yourself and if you're focused on yourself, you create dreams for yourself. You set goals for yourself. You dream big and then break that dream into small steps. And you take the small steps one at a time. And when you do those things, you exude positivity. You exude those positive vibes. And a lot of things start settling into place. Like in this particular case, what she's saying is that she herself identifies herself as, I was victimizing myself, and her friend didn't like that. Obviously, because for her, the other friend is going to feel very heavy and burdened with the fact that somebody who likes her is actually victimizing herself, and it's too much to take for the other kid also, right? She's also the same age. Yeah. How can she live? Look at it from her perspective. Put yourself in that shoe. If somebody is with you and is too possessive, has insecurities, how will you feel about it if somebody is doing that?
And that girl seems to have given a try, given a chance, and she definitely seems to have tried to make this relationship work.
Yeah.
So, but I truly agree with you that we got to first understand and look inside, understand that we'll have to depend on ourselves before we try to be or possessive, or at least possessive about someone else. Because if you're not possessive about ourselves,
I would say, Ashoka, I'm cutting you here a little bit, but I would say there is no need to forget over possessive, even possessive. Because please understand, just like you have your life, they have their life, they have their dreams. And every individual, just like you, has the right to live their life the way they want to. And the sooner we understand that, the better it is that, we are going to live our lives, and the control that we have is on our emotions, our thoughts, and our actions. However, this whole thing of saying, love yourself, yes, that's the key thing, love yourself. But how do you love yourself? That's how do you start loving yourself? And that's the tool that I talked about. Write 5 things that you just love about yourself. You're a caring person, or you're a loving person, or whatever those things are. Put it in a place that you can see. Read it once a day, so that you slowly start inculcating those thoughts. And don't compare. Please, for heaven's sake, don't compare.
Brilliant. Let us move to our next email, because we have got, as I said, we are going through a very long emails today, and we'll need some time to read through this and also analyze. Our second email says, hello, sir. I'm from 2nd BTech. First of all, my heartily wishes to you, sir, for conducting these wonderful sessions. Thank you. Sir, my parents are keeping more instructions and restrictions on me. They treat me like a small child. I have a lot of fear while I'm saying something to them. That's why I always control my feelings and happiness. I have no siblings, and my parents are too busy with their work. I really want to spend more time with friends and relatives, but my parents doesn't allow and doesn't give any permission to me to do so. How can I share my feelings with my parents? From the last 8 months, I feel like something is missing in my life. I have monophobia. I took melatonin tablets if I felt more alone and more mood off. How can I change my mood? How can I care for my mental depression, monophobia? I have a lot of patience, but now I think I lost my patience and I'm getting more angry on others. I've never discussed this with my parents and friends too. Please help.
Okay, the first thing that I really want to say before I get into anything else is that if you're taking this medication and it's prescribed, then it's fine. Otherwise, please stop taking this medication on your own. Please do not self-medicate. Number two, as our panel psychiatrist had shared with us in the initial video that we had done, if you feel that your depression is pulling down, you need to assess it and understand whether it is clinical depression or not. Yeah, because if you're being able to get up in the morning and you're able to do your work and go to your college and do your studies, then it is not clinical depression, but it is a certain phase, a certain low feeling. However, if you feel you're suddenly not being able to eat or not being able to sleep for a consecutive period of a couple of weeks, then you definitely need to refer yourself to a psychiatrist or a counselor where they will refer medication or not, and then only please take these medications. The other, the thing that you really wanted to discuss over here is about your parents in you and how they give you a lot of instructions and they treat you like a child, and you're not able to talk to them and you feel fear. For this, what I want to tell you is, what I want to ask you actually is that, have you tried? What have you done? If your parents are busy professionals or are not able to talk to you or communicate with you, have you tried writing to them, saying something on the dining table to at least initiate a conversation? And if it is something, what you want to tell them, I'm not aware of right now, but whatever you want to tell them, have you attempted that? If it is a serious thing, schedule a time when they are free, when you are free, and talk to them. And if the fear is holding you back, then I would say, think of it like this, what's the worst that can happen? Maximum, they'll say, we don't have time and we can't talk about it, which I really don't think will happen. They will find time for their only child, their only son, right? And if you look at it from a perspective of what can happen, then you feel more courageous to go about and take that step. Also, think of it like this. At the moment, you are assuming that your parents don't want to talk to you, they don't want to listen to you at all. And this is a thought that is a negative thought. In the adult world, they all say that parents are the last to know, right? So are your parents even aware of the fact of what you're going through? Also, do one thing. When you are planning to talk to them, think through what you're going to say. Don't just go and, on a extempo kind of a thing, blurt out stuff. Think of what you want to say. Think of what the problem is. Think of what you want from them. Tell them this is what you want and this is what you're ready to do. So with rights come responsibilities. This is what I'm doing, and therefore I think I deserve ABC, whatever it is that you want to talk to them about. Yeah, Ashok.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask, since you keep talking to teenagers and kids of this age, is this a common problem that you come across? What if he is not putting in that effort? Is there a chance that he's completely getting away from what he should actually be doing?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Ashok. I do get a lot of people who say, my parents don't listen to me. And then you start talking about it, it is an issue of communication, because you are thinking about a lot of things in your head. You have that parent-child relationship with your parents, where you think of your parents as the authority figure. You don't think of them as your friend. So you have a certain fear in you where you feel that if I talk, I don't know how they will react. And the point is that fear holds you back from even communicating. And like I said, see, adults are also humans. They're not gods. Your parents are also humans. So if they have by chance missed out something on their own, make that effort and tell them. Communication is the only answer to this.
Thank you. let's move on to our next email. It says, well, my case is as similar as other emails you're getting right now, but I'm going through this from my childhood. I was a topper and my friend doesn't like that. Her mom always says me not to compete with her and says me to give my place to her, whatever it might mean. If it's a competition, if I won the first prize, she wants that. That's interesting. Everything was going on like that. I met a guy where we were good friends, but she wants him each and everything, whatever I got. She wants that. Time passed away when I'm in my plus two. I met him again, but I found him cheating on me. He left me. I was going through that pain for so long, and that guy started to spread rumors that we had a physical relationship. And everyone used to question me and point out me at in all these situations. I was totally depressed by the way how society thinks, the way they pointed me. I feel like I was very low and even wanted to end my life. I wanted him, but I'm not sure whether I could take his behavior again. While this was going on, my parents found out about the rumors and put me in a low medium college, which I didn't even like. I was a top ranker in Mumbai, but my dreams started to fade off. I lost my dreams. I lost my entire life. Even after all these years, I was being haunted by my past, which was not even my fault. My parents can't understand. I can't even explain them. I'm not in a stage to explain them. I was totally lost being all alone. I doesn't understand. Not even my friends understand me. It's over. It's through all my life. I really wanted to end my life, but I remember my parents every time, and I couldn't end it. I can't bear the pain the way doctors suggested me not to cry. I can't even cry wholeheartedly. There's still more, but I couldn't tell everything. If my friends are depressed, I can motivate them, but I cannot motivate myself. That's a painful story. And yeah, Shivani, up to you.
Okay, first things first, there is no harm in crying. So unfortunately, I don't agree with the doctor who tells you don't cry. There is absolutely no harm in crying and making, sometimes when the pain is too much, you feel as if it's kind of pushing against your chest. And actually, there are benefits of crying. So yes, go ahead, cry your heart out, feel light. But that's not the only thing that you should do. Yeah. So there are other things also that you need to do. When it comes to that friend's mother wanting her child to have everything that you have, my point is, let her want. Good. She's trying to motivate her child and say that, look at her, she's doing it, she's getting all this, you should be like her. So that's great. You're being an inspiration to somebody. So that's a very good thing. Secondly, you must have heard that Hindi song which says, Kuch to log kahenge, logon ka kaam hai kehna. So in English, what we say is, what's that proverb? It says, the ones who matter don't mind, and the ones who mind don't matter. What this actually means is that the people who matter, they don't mind you being you. And so please be you. And the ones who mind you as a person, then they don't matter. So don't listen, don't give your ear, your time, your resources to people who are talking stuff. I understand that it can get difficult sometimes when other people are talking about you and you don't like what they are talking. But you are the one who knows best about what you are, who you are, and what you've done. And the people who do matter will listen to you and they will understand what you're trying to say. I understand that, again, in this case, you said, I don't think my parents will understand. Have you sat them down? Have you told them your side of the story? What have you done to show them that you are a responsible person? Always, responsibility and then the communication and the right? At the end of the day, I think she said she was in architecture, right? Yeah. So it's an amazing profession or education line that you've chosen for yourself. So dream big, focus on that work, because at some point in time, you will finish your education, you will get into the professional world, and even in the corporate world, there are people who talk about lots of things. Unfortunately, by whatever chance in our society, we tend to make a mountain out of a molehill with regards to a boy and a girl relationship. And I know this might sound a very cliched kind of a statement when I say this, 10 years down the line, this will not seem like a big thing. And the way to understand is like this, think of when you were in class 4 or 5 and you had a fight with your, closest friend, and it was such a big deal for you that, she's not talking to me, or she said "katti" to me or something like that, right? Today you think about those things and you do laugh, right? It's exactly like that 10 years down the line or 5 years down the line. So my point is that look at the big picture. Look at the fact that you're, in college, you're studying architecture. It's an amazing world out there with lots of opportunities. And when you start thinking of that and you focus on yourself, there will be more and more moms coming up who will say, be like her, see, be like her. She's done so well in her career and moving ahead, despite the hurdles.
In fact, that should act like a motivation rather than a hindrance.
Absolutely. Let her want what she wants. Yeah, absolutely. Focus on yourself.
But at some point in time down there in the email, she said she's getting suicidal thoughts. So is it necessary for her to seek right help or talk to counselors at this point in time?
At this point in time, Ashoka, I think she, what I get from her email is that she is a sensible person. Yeah. She has kept herself open. She understands that it's just the communication with her parents and the stuff that people are talking about that's causing a problem. And yes, if she does continue to have those thoughts, she understands that it's not a solution. It is, and again, it is not that people don't think about these things once in a while. Yes, unfortunately, people who continue to think like this or don't have anything positive to look forward to, they are the ones who get into that situation. Yes, if you do continue to feel like this and get in your hole, then go ahead and talk to somebody. However, all you have to do is, train your mind to look at the positive. And there is so much positivity going on in your life right now. You say you've been a great student, you're doing a career, you're in college already. Make the most of this time and, one step at a time, go ahead, achieve your dreams.
Thank you, ma'am. I mean, that sounds so reaffirming. I just wanted to remind you guys and girls on the meet today, can you please message your questions or even raise your hands so that you directly can talk to Shivani ma'am today. That will be a great interaction if you are wanting to talk to her. I'm still looking at the list of participants here and I cannot see any hands raising. So it's your opportunity to raise your hands. I've already started getting some messages on the chat. I will be able to take those questions on the chat with the ma'am. But I also want you guys to raise your hands if you would want to directly talk to her. So I'm taking this pause and talking to her because there's this very long email that I'm going to read through. So it's going to take at least a couple of minutes to about 5 minutes time for me to read through it. Again, there might be a lack of clarity or comprehension while I'm reading through it because I'm directly reading through the email without modifying it or without trying to make it look flashy on language. Because it is important for us to both understand the person as well as read through their words rather than we trying to modify the email just for the sake of this program. So we're just reading through whatever you guys have written. So do not worry if you do not have a good vocabulary or writing skills. That is absolutely okay. This is only to understand your feelings rather than to see if you're good at writing English. So please don't mind. Also, listeners who are listening to us, do not get into a feeling that our English is not good. It's just that we're just trying to read through the emails. I'm just going to the next email. It says, hello, I'm really in need of your advice. I'm studying engineering and I have a friend. She was so close to me, like we literally used to share every single thing. But one day she became so dominating. She started underestimating me see, for example, I did some mistake in the problem. She can say it to me in a friendly manner, but she wantedly does it when people are around. And when our teacher is nearby, she wantedly started like kind of insulting me in front of them, shouting out loud that you did a mistake. You don't even know this, all this kind of stuff. She used to tell me about some people in our class, like she don't like them. They will be good to others only when they need some work and much more. Then later I thought maybe it was me who was overthinking, but no, she proved me right and she started talking so nice to people who she told me that she didn't like. And she also used to tell me so much about them and still she's behaving as if they are so close to them. I hate this. I'm now literally unable to cry because I'm tired of crying. I don't have at least one person to share things. I feel lost. My parents are never bothered of what I'm going through. They want me to study, that's all. But every day when I go to the college, we face each other, right? So I don't know how to take it because everyone in the class feels that it is my fault. They think that it is me who is not being nice to her. But no, I can't tell them that she talked on your back and still don't know why she's started being nice to you all. I don't have any siblings, even though if I want to share my feelings, and I couldn't get any advice. No cousins even, because my parents are always busy fighting. Well, they completely forgot that I need a family. Every day, every minute, it's just this going in my mind. Please help me get out of this. I'm unable to concentrate on my studies or any other work. I started being nice to people, but some people take advantage of me every time. I feel there should be at least one person close to you, but in my case, there's no one. No one. This is not the actual me. I really didn't do anything wrong or anything that hurts others. If I just stay like this, I feel like dying. I don't know what step do I take. I lost all my confidence. And my parents, they never sit beside me, talk to me. They never ask me what's happening in your college today. How is your day? Okay, if they don't ask me, maybe they don't know what I feel or how I feel that they need to ask me. But when I say to them that so and so happened, they're never ready to listen. They want me to study. That's all. They don't give any suggestions like do this, don't think of this, etc. I completely agree that they want me to study, but it is even more important to know them, how I daily feel, being alone, coming back from the college and also in the college. If you ask me about cousins, I just met them twice or thrice. It is because my father doesn't like talking to my mom's family, and it is the same with my mom, with her in-laws. That's her dad's family. So I don't get along with the family. I'll be waiting for your reply.
Okay. Yeah. I was putting down points as you were talking, Ashoka, because there is a lot of stuff and I don't want to miss out because, once you read through it, then later the last point remains in my mind and the others might get lost. And please send a message if I've missed out on something. And okay. So you've talked about the friend who suddenly, who was earlier very close to you and used to talk about the other girls or other boys in the class, and then started being friendly with them instead of you, and you were very surprised at what she did, and you didn't like that. The point of the matter is that at the end of the day, you, and if you think about it, you are only in control of your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions. There is what the other person does, how the other person reacts is not in your control, right? And what happens is that when you start to look at other people and try and understand why they did something, it's not always possible because you're not aware of their circumstances, their thoughts, and why they are acting in a certain way. Now, yes, you can hypothesize. You can, if I was to start thinking about that girl and why she did that, I could probably list out a few reasons as to why she did whatever she did. However, her actions are hers and for her to analyze. What is important for you to do is think through your thoughts and then take action. You cannot control another person, but you can control your thoughts. What do you want to think? What do you want to do with your time? Do you want to sit and try and understand why did she do this? Or do you want to actually do something more productive with your time and find the kind of people who you can gel with, right? I understand that you mentioned that your parents only want you to study. Think of it like this. Why do you think your parents want you to study? And you say they're not bothered about me, or they're not thinking about what I feel and stuff. Why are they wanting you to study? What is in it for them if you study or you don't study? And that question actually, will lead you to hopefully a situation where you understand that they only want you to do well for yourself. Yeah, it is as you are getting into adulthood and going to meet the challenges, as in you will see that your actions, and you will get the results based on what input you do. And yes, you will, some people talk about luck and stuff like that. Luck happens when opportunity meets hard work, right? So the opportunity, the world will provide, the universe will provide, but the hard work has to come from your end. So that's what I would like to say about your feeling that, why my parents are asking me only to study. They're asking you to study because they want you to progress. It is your progress that they are interested in. And again, even if that's not the case, the point of the matter is studying good for you? Is it something that will take you forward, make you a better person than what you are today, make you better skilled and more talented, make you in a place or a position to give back to the world what you have got? And if yes, then why not? What else? You also mentioned about the fact that, your cousins, they're not accessible, or you've met them only a few times and you feel alone. Loneliness can be very depleting sometimes. However, this is where I talk about use technology in the positive way. Yeah. So we all, we've heard so much about technology being running our lives, and social media is bad, or this and that. But in certain cases, it can be a boon. It is basically how we use it. So in this particular case, I would suggest use technology. You have a phone with you, you have your email ID. And today, we have Zoom, we have WhatsApp calls, we have video calls. So communicate with we have WhatsApp messages. Communicate with your cousins. Communicate. Open yourself to other people. And yes, I think you also mentioned that you want to make friends and stuff, but then you feel as if you're being taken advantage of. So when you are putting yourself out there, and you're kind of communicating to the world that I want to be friends, and I want to have a good relationship, have a network or a group of friends, that does not mean that you will have a group of friends at any cost. Maintaining boundaries while you are making friends is extremely important, not just in your case, for everybody. So there is a certain boundary that you will make, and those boundaries shift over time depending on the kind of relationship you then develop or have with different people. But yes, think about what your boundaries are, maintain those boundaries, but please keep yourself open and find new people to talk to.
Yeah, thanks, Shivani. I mean, I'm just wondering, is there something that she can communicate back to her parents in some way? Because she's been, I mean, what I've understood from her email is that she's also trying to communicate with them, but they're not ready to listen to. Is there something differently?
I did not specifically mention about that, Ashoka, because what I understand from her email is that there is something going on in that relationship. And first of all, maybe it's a great thing you talked about that, because their relationship is between the two of them. It's got nothing to do with you. So at this point in time, in terms of what she's communicating with them, I'm not sure whether that's the best thing to do, because the kind of, what shall I say, the kind of interaction that mom and dad are having amongst themselves, I don't know what dynamics will play in the whole process. But I assume, she's somebody who's 17, 18 years old. And so you have access to people, you have access to your transport, you know, it's almost like me wanting to say that, you know, guys, you are almost adults, so, you know, start taking your decisions responsibly and move ahead.
Yeah, in fact, I've got 8 cousins and we hardly meet, but we have this WhatsApp group through which we communicate every day. So probably you take an initiative, you yourself be that one who's trying to connect with them, get to know them, and start being positive about everything that you have in life that you are already proud of, rather than looking at what you do not have. So that way you can make a big difference to yourself.
Absolutely.
So there's one person who has put up their hand, and I would want to give them a chance to talk now, because I'm sure our audience would have got monotonous with our tones. So let's listen from Anjana. Anjana, would you want to go ahead?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir. Thank you.
Yes, please. Go ahead, Anjana.
Yeah. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Anjana.
Yeah, ma'am. I want to ask you a question. We are having some people who are close to our heart. Is it?
Just one second, Anjana. Are you on video? I'm unable to see you.
No, ma'am. I'm not on video. Actually, I just unmute my mic. That's all.
No problem. Go ahead.
All right. Please go ahead. Video is not required. Please go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir. Yeah, we will be having some people who are literally close to our heart, regardless to gender. So, if on one fine day when they leave us, then how could be the situation of us? How could we face that? I'm unable to face that. So, I want you to say some few words so that I can get motivation from you.
Okay. See, when you go through a breakup, that's what you mentioned, right? And
no, ma'am. Sorry. I'm only just saying in friendship.
Okay. Well, it doesn't. It's not very different when it comes to friendships or breakups, or for that matter, you know, divorces that happen among partners also. Because what happens is when somebody goes out of your life, okay, what you feel is a certain amount of grief. Yes, and that is totally natural, because, you know, if you've had a relationship with a close friend for many years, you are likely to miss them. And you know, I understand that, you know, you go through a lot of phases. You go through phases where you start feeling, first of all, you don't accept it, because, you know, you feel, how could this even happen? The idea is to be able to understand the various phases, and if you understand those phases, you are able to get out of them and move on with your life. However, accept whatever you're feeling at that point in time. So if you're feeling sad about the fact that some friend has suddenly stopped you know, talking to you and decided to go her own way or his own way, and then you have to accept it. It is also very important, Anjana, that you do not hold yourself responsible for what has happened. Because like I said, you know, in the earlier, one of the earlier questions, that the action of the other person is not dependent on you, right? It is, and in most cases, what happens is we tend to take it upon ourselves. We tend to take it upon, we start feeling that, you know, there's something wrong with me, and that's why she doesn't want to be my friend anymore, or I have done something to hurt her. And that is really not the case, because the only problem is that you have not, you are you and you are not her. So you cannot in any way, in entirety, understand what the reason was. And yes, even though it hurts, the fact of the matter still remains that you can be, again, you know, responsible for your actions and moving on. If you do get into that cycle of continuously thinking about, what did I do? What did I do? What did I say to her? Was it this reason why she went away, or you know, why they stopped talking to me? It can go on. If you do have access to that person, yes, one attempt made to understand what the issue was will provide a certain amount of closure, will provide, okay, she had her reasons, which is fair enough. Again, we I'm not saying that you will stop missing that person immediately. It takes time, but time is a great healer. And there are lots and lots of people. You will find other people whom you will connect with, with whom you will have a vibe. And there are people who lose people, not just from going away. There are other things that happen to them, and people move on. Sometimes, you will also feel angry about the whole situation, and you'll feel, why did this happen to me, right? If the whole idea is that, yes, feel sad about it, don't feel guilty about it. That's very important. That sadness over time will reduce. But if you get into that whirlpool of feeling that it's my fault, that can take you into a very negative and dark place. And then again, if you start feeling and seeing hope, if you start meeting other people, if you start keeping your head and mind open, you will be able to then connect with somebody else, and then that will be another phase. So life is, it's a long period of life. You meet school friends, some stay in touch, some don't stay in touch. You meet college friends, you have boyfriends and girlfriends, and you have breakups, and then you marry. Some people unfortunately have divorces. So this is a lot of stuff happens in life, but each of them is a phase. You accept it, you acknowledge it, that yes, somebody has gone, I miss them, I miss the connection. There is no need in being in denial and thinking that it's not there, which is very much the first phase that happens. You deny that the other person has walked away, and you try and keep going after them and saying, how can this be, how can you leave me, what have I done, and stuff like that. But if that kind of a thing has happened and they're very, very clear that they don't want to interact with you, then you get into things like guilt and anger. But yes, acknowledge the feeling, move out of the guilt phase very quickly, and if you keep yourself open, you will feel and you will meet a lot of new people going forward.
Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And there is one more question left I have to ask you. May I?
Please.
Yeah. Ma'am, I'll say you a small story. If you won't understand it, ask me again. I'll say you. I'll tell you a story. There is a boy who loved one girl sincerely from 7 to 8 years, and the girl who is his lover, and she also like him, but she's just thinking of her parents. So she don't want to leave her parents for her love, and she don't want to leave her lover for parents. So she is in a state of depression that whether to accept to him or to leave parents. And she is not yet accepting to that boy, and she is still crying inside home daily. She is my friend. I don't know how to console her. So what should I say for her? How can I convince her? What should I say? Whether to accept her love, or whether to accept her parents, or whether to convince both of them? Can you please explain how my situation will be, and what should I say my to friend? Can you, ma'am?
How old is she?
She's 21 years old, ma'am.
Okay. And what does she do?
She's studying BTech.
She's studying BTech.
Yeah, in some local college.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. A lot of times, Anjana, we think that situations in either or, they don't have to always be either or. Your friend doesn't have to make that call and say, it's either my parents or the guy that I like and I love. And if they have been together for 7-8 years and they are serious about each other, she's 21 years old, she's been an adult for 3 years. It's very, in India, we tend to have this whole thing about the authority of parents, which lasts so long. In the Western world, and I'm not saying that we should be exactly like them, but we should adopt some of the things that are positive, in their culture also. You're 18, you have to become a responsible person, right? That's the adulthood age. There's a reason why that age is adulthood, right? So your friend doesn't have to say that either this or that. She can continue to have a relationship with her parents and continue to like the boy. So I don't really, at this stage, when she's not looking to, I guess, consummate her marriage, get into a marriage kind of a situation, I don't see why the choice has to be made at all.
But no matter what, ma'am, the parents won't accept her love. So that's the reason she is getting into depression.
How does she know?
because of her family circumstances. She is born in a traditional family, so they are very particular about their customs and.
Yeah. So again, something that I said in the in the previous part of the talk, she's assuming it in her head. She's 21 years old. At the moment, she's not going to marry him. She might marry him a few years down the line, by which time probably she will have a job, and sitting her parents down and telling them that I've met him, I've been with him for the past, it will be 10 years by that time, and we intend to marry. And if you are going to give your blessings to us, that's great. And then the onus is on the parents in terms of what they want to decide. No?
It is actually about the situation that you put yourself in while you are revealing this to your parents. I mean, how confident are you about to take a step either ways when something like that happens? So that makes a big difference. I totally understand what you're saying, Shivani, here.
Like I said, Ashoka, that the extreme case happens, a little bit of an extreme case happens in the West where, 18 and you're out of the house. So fend for yourself. Some parents don't support college. Some will have saved up some monies for college. Otherwise, you take a student loan. So, I mean, we should be very thankful that our parents at least support us till all our education is finished. And in the case of girls, they, make sure that they are married and, stuff like that. So I'm not saying that, we should adopt that kind of an extreme situation, but at the same time, there has to come some kind of a level playing field in our society.
Yeah, there should be a balance.
Yeah.
But ma'am, that boy went into depression and he had addicted to drunk and so and so, as she is not accepting. So she is in a state that why couldn't I accept? He's such a nice guy. If he'd be my husband, then my life would be happy now. So she is in a state of thinking like that, as he is ruining his life.
It is also about the time that you give to each other. If you're really serious about it, it is important for you both to give time to each other and build that support system that will be required for you when you are about to take a step towards your future. So I strongly feel that it is not about your concern about what your parents might think, but it should be really about how you both trying to convince each other to give time to each other and build your career and future. Because when you do that, when you have a positive outcome in both of your hands, and when you have a support system that supports you when you take a step towards, let's say, marriage, now you'll be more confident than what you are today. Right now, you are in a denial phase and a confused state. You got to move out of it and have a support system set for yourself. That is absolutely important. Because with that support system already set for yourself, you'll have more confidence to deal with this situation than what you are currently in. That is absolutely important for you to change this situation for yourself.
So let's look at it very, very practically, Anjana. Today, your friend is doing BTech. She's still studying. Okay. Whether she likes the guy, they are in a relationship, that's all fine. But if you say that, the guy is pressurizing her to get married at this stage, then obviously it is something that is not practical because she knows her parents are not going to agree.
No, ma'am. Sorry for interrupting. Actually, he is not forcing her to marry. He's just saying that accept my love. That's all. And she is saying, no, I can't accept. And if I accept you, and I will surely decline in the future due to my parents. And I don't want you to be alone after accepting my love.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I think that your friend at the moment is assuming a lot of things that in the future I will have to say no. Right? In the future, she will be different. She'll be a different person. She'll have finished her BTech. She will probably be doing a job. Both of them will be financially independent. They'll be much, more mature at that stage. So your friend is assuming that her parents will not agree. And that agree is the word that I want to question. At 25 and 26, when you have been with somebody for 10 years, and if you present your argument to somebody when the guy is working, you're working, you've been together for 10 years, you have known that person for 10 years, and if you present your argument to your parents at that point in time with responsibility, not with main apne aap ko maar dungi, kaat dungi kind of drama, because that's the sign of a not mature mind, a mind which is which is driven more by hormones than by practical reality of life. So if you do that, and we're talking of a few years down the line, like I said, your friend doesn't have to, at this point in time, say this or this.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Shivani and Anjana. So there are a few more questions that we got to take because people are really waiting to hear from you. Can the rest of you please go on mute? Yeah, thank you. So it says, hello, ma'am. Thank you for conducting such a great session to open up. I've been suffering from an issue and wanted to seek help from you. I have a friend who's a family friend of us who treats me like a sister, but he's attached emotionally a lot to me as a brother. But I have no interest to talk to him and share, spend my time or interact with him. I've clearly explained to him the same a lot of times, but he isn't understanding my point. He just blackmails me emotionally, saying that if I don't talk to him, he commits suicide. I can't block him or avoid him as he's a family friend. I've told the issue to my parents too. They say to ignore him, but it's of no use. He texts me continuously and stalks my profile on WhatsApp and checks whether I'm online and asks me if I'm ignoring his texts. I'm not able to handle this stress and really being affected mentally. Please suggest me what to do. Thank you.
Okay, while I am extremely, what shall I say, extremely sad at what has happened with Sushant Singh Rajput and a lot of others, I sometimes do feel that, anything taken in an extreme situation, and the media seems to, blow it up so badly that it kind of becomes the buzzword. And, this is a typical, sometimes, and it's such a big thing that you can't but ignore it, right? Because you feel that what if, and it's such a big kind of a consequence, the risk is too high to ignore. So great, first of all, I think it's very nice of you to actually not have ignored it and spoken to your parents about it, and your parents are asking you to ignore. However, what he does is not your responsibility. That's what I would like to say to you first. Yeah. So there is, this seems to be a drama kind of a thing. And on a practical level, please communicate not to just your parents, maybe communicate as a first step to his parents. So if it's a family friend, you go ahead and communicate to them that this is what is happening and I'm not comfortable with it. And even more, as a next level kind of a thing, if it doesn't stop and it really is kind of a stalking and you are pestered with it and you're troubled with it, where somebody is following you online or posting stuff to you online, you can kind of call parents together and have a meeting and say, what the hell, because you have a right to your privacy. You have a right to what you want to do, and if you don't want to interact with that person, nobody can take away that right. And if somebody is threatening you into the kind of a situation, saying main suicide kar lunga, kind of a thing, it's very, very compassionate of you to not ignore it and bring it to the notice of adults, and that is great. Maybe bring it to the notice of his parents, because then let them deal with that, because yes, obviously it needs to be looked into if it is a serious kind of a threat. As of now, based on what you have said, honestly, it's like trying to arm twist you into talking to him than anything else. So yes, and again, our technology is great, and we should use it to help us. You can block him from your WhatsApp. You can block him from your Facebook. So there are ways and means by which you can at least avoid that kind of stalking. And yeah, you are family friends, so you probably will meet up when your families meet up, but then it'll be in a group kind of a situation. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, probably she seems to be more on the side of not wanting to hurt him, but she should realize that she's getting more hurt in the process.
Absolutely. And she has every right to, talk to somebody or not talk to somebody. That is your decision. And, she's being nice about the whole thing and saying that, it's not as if I'm, forthrightly rejecting you or being nasty to you. But if you're not interested in talking to him or allowing him access to your Facebook or your WhatsApp or your Instagram, by all means, you have the right to take that decision. Yes, you've done the great, she has taken the step of talking to her parents, but if it's not stopping and she's not able to ignore, the kind of things, use technology is what I'm saying at the first level. And honestly, at the second level, even in your head, somebody is writing to you, people, my phone numbers and my emails are available to a lot of people. And unfortunately, everybody who writes to me is not writing into me for coaching or counseling. They sometimes just want to chat up, and you just ignore the message. That's it. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Just ignore it. Don't take the stress on yourself. You're only hurting yourself by taking the stress. As long as you've done your duty, you've told your parents, I would suggest the next step is to go tell his parents, because the action is going to lie there. And after you've done that, you've done your duty, and that's about it.
Yeah, you got to then sort of decide on not reacting to him. So that's best. Yeah. We'll take 2 more questions for the day because we're already past the time. Yes. It's 3 already here, and Shivani is joining us from Singapore. I can also see her cutie dog waiting for her.
I can see him
behind her. Yes. So let's take a couple of more questions. And for those questions that we couldn't take today, I can see a lot of questions and grief poured in the messages. Please do send these messages to our email, letstalk@younify.com. And Shivani will be back next week at the same time to answer your questions, and we can take up all of these questions with her. So I'll surely prioritize these questions because you have already put them up here. I would only want you to send them to us on emails for the next week so that we can put them on the record. Now, Aryan has his hand up, and Aryan, would you want to talk?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Please.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Aryan.
So I have like 2 questions. First one, like what we can really do with this social stigma in India, like the parents have against love marriages, ma'am. Why can't the boys and girls find their inner peace? Why do boys and girls, they have LGBTQ rights also now?
Okay, you're asking me a very general question.
Like I will put one point, ma'am. Some parents have this thinking. I'm molding a question into another directions. Like we support LGBT, but hamara ladka ladki na ho. Like that kind of mentality.
I understand what you're saying. You're saying that we all watch good love movies, but we never support it.
Yes.
Yeah. You're right.
Aryan, what the society is and how it is shaped up today is a lot of years of how things have developed and how things have been. And it is not for us to start thinking about why is it like this today, because that doesn't solve any problems. What does solve problems is to think about what can I do about it. Yeah. So and this is a question for all of you guys who are listening in today. What can you do about it? And at the same time, thinking of it not in a very casual way, because like I've said, unless and until you think about it responsibility, you will not be taken seriously. So if you say, you talk about love marriages and you talked about LGBT, right? So if you talk about love marriage and you are doing the drama of, I can't live without her and I will cut my wrist, or I will, be suicide if I don't get her. That kind of a thing is an extreme measure taken to, get the attention. The ones who are mature, they say, fine, I'm an individual, I am an adult, I will take care of my own decisions, and I'm financial. See, this is what I tell my son, by the way, Aryan, who is also called Aryan, and he's 15 years old right now. So I tell him, financially, emotionally, and physically. The moment you are physically, so FENP, financially, emotionally, and physically, the moment you're independent in these 3 areas, go do whatever you want to. Yeah. And my son didn't believe certain things, just like you are saying that, it's all good to see LGBT movies and otherwise hamara beta na ho gay and stuff like that. So he came to me once and he joked with me. I didn't know he was joking. He was very serious. And he said, Mom, I think I'm gay. So I was like, okay. I mean, what do I do with it? That's what you do in your future and in your bedroom is up to you, right? So yes, at this point in time, what do I said, as long as you are safe, and he's 15 by the way. So I said, as long as you stay safe and you do not do any stuff right now, at a later stage, whatever you indulge in is up to you. So yes, I do believe that is the kind of attitude and independence parents need to start giving their children. However, yes, I also know that's not reality. And what we need to ask ourselves is, what can we do to change that? And today, a lot of things are happening. We have gay prides, we have all that happening. And people are changing their ways. I do know people who have gay children and they're pretty nonchalant about it. So.
And one more add-on question. Like you said that 10 years down the line, you won't remember that, you will forget that. I do have that same attitude towards anything. Mom, then one question arises that, does anything really matters in the long run?
Oh, now you're getting into nihilistic kind of philosophies. Okay. Oh God. Okay. Very interesting, Aryan, and I'm loving this actually, because this is the kind of debates I love to have. There is
there's a one Green Day song. I tried so hard but couldn't reach far. In the end, it doesn't really matter. It's like,
well, we see what matters or not. The point is that they say there's no reality; it's only perception. Yeah. And therefore, there is nothing real. It is all about how you think of it. Your reality is created by how you want to think of it. Now, there are people who think of the world and say, the world, you look at it, it's me, my family, the society, the city, the world, the universe, and I am like this one small thing. I am so insignificant, right? However, there's just another way of looking at the same thing. You are this small, but you are one node in an intricate network of energy, of people, of actions that is happening, of souls that's happening all around you, right? And that node has a contribution to give and a role to play in what is happening in the universe. And yes, today, if you start thinking of it in an analytic kind of a way, the way Nietzsche and Solzhenitsyn, thought, if you do not do your bit, then what is there? Yes, there are difficulties. Yes, life is like that. Yes, you are not perfect. Yes, you have weaknesses, but you also have strengths. You also have beautiful traits, and you also have the power to do your bit. Yes.
Also, Shivani, what I feel is this analogy of moving ahead and not being able to think about it after 10 years only matters when you have not achieved it, when you have had a negative outcome or a negative feeling around it, not when you have achieved something and not when you have really felt good about what you have done. I mean...
Well, no, Ashoka, there's a slight difference. And let me tell you this, that there is, today's youth, and since we're talking to all the youth, and I really want to say this very strongly, is today's youth, and it's not their fault, they are exposed to so much of media that while earlier we would look at people in and around us and we would know what they are doing, the limitation, we were limited to this much. Today we know what Vijay Mallya does. We also know what Bill Gates does. We also know what Mark Zuckerberg did, and we know how they live. We know how Brad Pitt lives, what kind of a house he has, the inside of his house, all that. Yeah. And we are kind of constantly measuring ourselves up to them in terms of material things. And what you said about that we will think about the positive things 10 years down the line, not really. You start off with thinking, I want to achieve this. You achieve that. Let's say you want to buy a car, you want to buy a house, flat in Bandra in Mumbai, Great, you've done very well for yourself. You buy that flat in Bandra, and within 1 week, 2 weeks, you get so used to it that doesn't give you any joy. So that's called hedonic adaptation in psychology. What happens is that you get used to that comfort, which is why this whole thing of material gains and the run that you're running, it's like that hamster wheel. If you've seen that hamster wheel, and the hamster keeps running, but he's just going round and round and round in that place. And so I'm not saying that you should not strive. There is a practical side of life. You have to learn, you have to upskill yourself, you have to work, you need the comforts. But the comforts, material things, will not provide the meaning to your life. The meaning to your life is when you're going to find what matters to you, what gives you that satisfaction, what gives you that motivation that comes from within. And I don't stop to quote 3 idiot quotes, 800 mein ghoomunga par khush rahunga, and that's a fact. There are happiness studies that have been done. Also, this whole thing that Aryan was talking about, which is 10 years down the line, you won't be sad about it, and then what really matters, it's not that it does not matter, it very much matters at that point in time, and which is why you need to feel that emotion, you need to go through that pain, you need to understand it, you need to accept it, and you need to learn from it, and you need to get wise from it and move on. 10 years later, it will not matter, because the 10 year later you will be a different you. For the today you, it matters. So feel it, go through the pain, except for the fact that no, this too shall pass. It is not enough, or it is not that bad or not that dark for you to end your life or do harm to yourself or not look forward to better things that are there in the future.
Fantastic.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank
you, Aryan, for the question. I think I just had a ball talking about it.
No, I can see that. I can really see that. I mean, it's already 3:12. Let us take 2 questions, because these 2 questions were put to us a long time back. Just about 10 minutes into our discussion, these questions were put up. So it will be quite hard on them to not to talk about these questions, and we'll move on.
Yes. But these 2, Ashoka, because I have a hard stop at 3:30. Yes.
Yes, I understand. So, hi sir, I'm fighting with myself from 3 years. I want to forget the person, but I cannot. I like him so much, but I didn't express my feelings to him because of my family issues. Finally, he left me and he's fine now, but I'm almost dead inside. I don't want to get back to him, but I lost my focus. What can I do to overcome this?
So first things first, I understand that you do not want to go back to him and stuff. And I think that's a great thing that you have said, because there you realize the fact that the you that were you with him was not something that is going to work out if the whole relationship is not reciprocal, right? If only when the relationship is reciprocal, you have trust and you respect each other, only then can you grow as individuals. What do you have to seek in a partner? When you're looking for a partner, you look at somebody who challenges you a little bit, but also supports you, so that you as an individual can, go from one step to the next, to the next. So yes, if you're not wanting to go back to the person, what I would like to ask you then is, what do you want to do for yourself? And again, I give this example to some of my clients when they come to me for coaching. And this is very much to do with this dog who's trying to get out of the door right now. When he's very fond of socks, okay? So he catches onto that sock and he doesn't let go. And whatever you do, he growls even at me. He will go to the extent of even biting me. So if the sock is in his mouth, there is no way you can get the socks out of his mouth. So what do you do with that? So if the thought is not going out of your head, what do you do with that? So what I do with my dog is I dangle a chicken. Okay. The moment the chicken comes in, and he smells that chicken, he drops the socks and he then obviously wants the chicken. So you need to find what your chicken is. Yeah. What is it that motivates you to that extent that you can put yourself into it, deep dive into it, something that is positive. It's called sublimation, where you're then looking for a positive way to get out of that, that jaw which is caught hold of your sock right now. That's what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you. So I request all of our participants to be more precise in their questions so that we can actually close this in 1 hour, because the professionals who are trying to join us, they've got hard stops and they've got other commitments to get on to. So we'll strictly adhere to our timelines as we repeat this show, as we keep going. So the last question for the day. Actually, I have feelings for a guy. I mean, this is a question. I'm talking about the question now. I have feelings for a guy, but one fine day I told him my feelings, but he neither rejected nor accepted. He says he has no reason to reject, but he doesn't want to make his life complicated. So later I didn't want to irritate him, so I didn't take the topic about it. Now we are good friends, but I become possessive and all other stuff when he speaks to some other girls, or he ignores me through though being online. But when I don't get his message, I'll go low. I always wanted to talk to him, but still think many things before either making a call or message to him. But I don't want to be like this. I just want to move away from such things. This is surely disturbing my day and plans. Though he's a good friend, these kind of thoughts make my day go low, and I feel like very low. So can you please help me getting out of such situation?
Okay. Again, this is something when there are people who come to me and talk to me about this, when they want to be in a relationship, but the other person does not, or is not interested, or is not showing that kind of interest in you. So what he has done is he's basically not rejected you, not accepted you in that way because he doesn't want to hurt you, probably. And that's a very nice thing for him to do. And it's nice that he is not, being nasty to you and stuff like that. And you feel something towards the individual. That's what you feel, again. However, what I would like to, have you ask yourself, is it what kind of relationship do you want? Do you want a relationship which is one-sided? Do you want a relationship in which you don't grow? Or do you want a relationship where you can mutually beneficially move together, supporting each other and moving together? And that's the one thing. So when you do realize that in this, a relationship is not made up of only you. It's made up of two people. And when you're looking at a situation where you can clearly see that the other person is not interested in you, you know that relationship will not move forward. And there is nothing you can do to force the individual, right? Because he or she has their own reasons for wanting what they want. Rather than sticking to that, let's say, so is this helping you? That's one of my favorite questions. Whenever you have to decide about a thought, an action, just think of it like this, is this thought helpful? Is this action helpful? And how is it? How so? So how is it helpful? If you get the answer helpful, yes, please go ahead and do it. So how is thinking about him or continuing to want to be in a relationship with him helping you? If it's helping you, go ahead. Keep thinking about it. But if not, then move your focus towards something else. Keep yourself open. And like I've said earlier, there are so many people out there. But if you keep yourself closed today and you do not allow somebody to come closer to you, then obviously you will face a situation where you feel stuck. And to unstuck yourself, there is effort. When we coach our clients, the first thing that we tell them that, yes, I'm here to support you, motivate you, create awareness for you, ask you the right questions. But at the same time, you're the one who has to do the hard work. You have to help, you have to make sure that you think positively. You try and look this side. And in the coaching kind of a scenario, that's obviously possible. It's different, as Srilakshmi ma'am was talking in a mental depression kind of a case. So yeah, coming back to the question, if this thought, if sticking and getting stuck with one guy in your head, not anywhere else, in your head, if you're sticking with one guy, you will just close your doors to all the beautiful opportunities that lie ahead.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, ma'am. I mean, I cannot just say how I'm feeling because with all of that thoughts that you have put to us, It's so great of you to have taken so much of time and explain with such a good clarity on what should we be doing.
See, our hopes are all dependent on the young generation. And so it is only our duty to spend this time with them and help them in any way. If this can make them look at life positively, and if this can make them work towards a better future for themselves, a happier future for themselves, then it's all worth it. Ashoka, I think that's what Younify is doing is a great thing.
Yeah, that's our intention as well, because we're directly impacting about 25,000 students, and we indirectly are impacting about 1.5 lakh students in both the states of Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So we are already associated with about 150 colleges right now. So we are trying to use this space, and we are trying to maximize the positive impact that we would be able to give to the students, because it's not just about growing a company, but it is also about how do we grow it and with what intention and with what message. So our message to the students out here is quite clear. If you have a problem, if it is anything that you would want to discuss about, we are here for you, and let's talk.
Yeah.
You can also,
my name is showing on the screen. Google me. My Gmail is shivani.guruvara@gmail.com. My site is shivaniguruvara.com. My Instagram handle is that. Connect with me anywhere and I will respond to you. Just let me know that you know me through Younify, and I will know that you've seen me speak or met
so much. Thank you so much for that, because that's quite reassuring for us to reach out to you. Shivani ma'am will be back next Wednesday with us at the same time. While you're sending your emails, please also mention whom you would want this question to be addressed by, because we have one counselor every day joining us, and they'll be able to guide you through. There are more topics coming for tomorrow and day after as well. The topic for tomorrow would be around, mostly around the issues that you'll be facing in a corporate when you're entering a corporate as a fresher. So that's going to be quite interesting. There's a corporate leader who's joining in, and there are 2 more sessions to come this week. And there will be a panel discussion on the coming Sunday again. I'm sure you wouldn't have forgot the fantastic panel discussion that we have had last Monday. And there will be a panel discussion coming up next Sunday, and it goes on. Every Sunday, we would be having a good panel discussion, which would be quite interesting to listen to. So with that, we'll sign off for today. If I would have missed up any of your questions, I'm sure I would have missed a lot of your questions today on the chat. So please do email all of your questions to lets.talk@younify.com. And with that, we'll sign up for today. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Thanks to your dog as well to have been so patient. What's her name?
Yes, he's almost, he's scratching the door and wanting to go out now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much, Ashok.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.